Welcome to the Padres Postgame Show on the Padres Radio Network. Coming up, we'll deliver a full recap of today's game, including highlights from the biggest moments. We'll take a trip down to the manager's office to hear from Mike Shildt. Plus, we'll bring you scores from around Major League Baseball. The Padres Postgame Show starts now on the Padres Radio Network.
Suarez is sad. Here's the pitch. Swung on, popped into shallow left. Machado back, calling off Peralta. Manny on the move, gets there to make the catch, and the ball game is over. Padres make quick work of the Tigers on this Labor Day, a 3-0 shutout win. Joe Musgrove went 6, and then just like you draw it up, Adam in the 7th, Scott in the 8th, and Suarez save number 31 here in the 9th.
18 games in 18 days. It ends on a high note for the San Diego Padres as they beat the Detroit Tigers in this series opener. The final score, Padres 3 and the Tigers 0. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we wrap this one up on what was a beautiful Labor Day here in America's finest city. And like Jesse alluded to in the final call there, really the pitching, the big story in this game. Joe Musgrove, 6 scoreless innings. Jason Adam, Tanner Scott, Robert Suarez all throwing scoreless frames in the 7th, 8th, and 9th as Suarez picks up save number 31 on the season. The offense came early. It came late. The Padres got insurance in the 8th inning, and the Padres find a way here today after what was a long 24 hours playing in Tampa Bay less than 24 hours ago, and they take the cross-country flight. They show up to Petco Park for a game that started at 3:40. Not the easiest way to wrap up an 18-game in 18-day stretch, but they find a way, and they win a very nice game against the Tigers to begin this 3-game set. Offensively, for most of this game, it was all about Luis Arraez. Arraez had the base hit in the 3rd, RBI single to make it a 1-0 Padres lead. Padres still led just 1-0. Going to the 8th inning, Arraez had another RBI single to make it 2-0. Manny Machado would make it 3-0 in the 8th inning with another RBI single. Padres didn't do anything explosive today offensively, but they just found ways to get enough offense to ultimately win this game. Again, Luis Arraez, 2 hits and 2 RBIs in this one. I caught up with Luis on the field right after today's win.
Luis, 3 runs on the scoreboard today. You drove in 2 of them, 1 early, 1 late. What was your approach in those 2 at-bats?
I just try to do my thing every day. So I just want to put and play, and then he threw me a sinker down and in, and then I got contact, and then I made the hit.
A shutout for this pitching staff today. Joe Musgrove, 6 scoreless innings. The bullpen gets it done again. What's it like to watch what those guys are doing on the mound right now?
It's fun to watch Joe pitching. He's healthy. We need him. And he did a really good job. We know he competes every day. He's amazing. Joe is one of my favorite pitchers. When I face him, I say, okay, it's a tough day for me, but I got it here with him. So, and then, Adam, Scott, and then Suarez, they pitch really well.
You guys were in Florida less than 24 hours ago. A long flight, early game today. How were you able to get this win today?
Long flight, and especially we left the family there, and then my family come visit Tampa, and then we have a job to do. So we come back to San Diego, play from this beautiful crowd, and then we just need to continue to play hard.
18 games in 18 days. You're looking forward to the off day?
Yes, sir. Tomorrow we have a big off day, so I gotta go there and sleep a lot.
So that was Luis Arraez right after this win. Again, 2 hits, 2 RBIs. Very critical moments for Arraez in this ball game as the Padres win it 3-0 against the Tigers. When we come back, we'll have all the radio highlights for you. We'll also hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Much more to come as the Padres improve to 79-61 on the year. Tigers drop to 70-69. Padres begin this 3-game series with a 3-0 win against the Tigers. More post-game after this from Petco Park on the Padres Radio Network. Our post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park on this Labor Day. Padres pick up a very nice 3-0 win against the Detroit Tigers as the Padres improved to 79-61. The Tigers dropped to 70-69. We'll have a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard coming up a little bit later, but to tell you a little bit about that scoreboard today, we do have good news. Well, I guess good news in the sense if you're rooting for, and I say this very carefully here in Padre land, rooting for the Dodgers against the Diamondbacks in that series that wrapped up today in Arizona. Not that you're rooting for the Dodgers necessarily, but you're, let's say, rooting for a Diamondback loss. Well, the reality of the situation, the Dodgers did win 3 out of 4 in that series against Arizona, and the Dodgers won 11-6 today. So, with the Padres win and the Diamondbacks losing, the Padres do jump ahead of the Diamondbacks for that number 1 wild card spot. So they will have that number 1 wild card spot at the end of today. So that is certainly good news. Again, not that you ever like to see a Dodger win, but hey, circumstances are circumstances, and because the Dodgers beat the Diamondbacks, well, the Padres now at the end of today do hold that top wild card spot in the National League. So that is good news for the Padres, and like we've said many, many times, if the Padres continue to take care of business, they can handle a lot of that themselves, and they did that here today, winning it 3-0 against the Tigers. Let's recap this game from start to finish.
What moments had the biggest impact on today's game? We'll paint you a picture with our game recap on the Padres Radio Network.
Let's start by talking about Joe Musgrove. He was really sharp early on. He pitched a 1-2-3 top of the first inning, worked around a leadoff single in the second, and then retired the side in order for a scoreless third inning. Meanwhile, Tigers opener Tyler Holton pitched 2 scoreless innings to begin the game. We had a scoreless game going bottom 3. Mason McCoy reached on an infield single. The pitcher, Brennan Hanafy, threw the ball away. That allowed McCoy to go to second base. That error proved to be very costly because Luis Arise was next.
1-2, and Arise hits it on the ground into right field and a base hit. McCoy racing around third, going to score easily. Bierling's throw goes into second base. They gave him right field, and he took it. Padres lead it 1-0.
That's all the Padres would get in the third. The Tigers then had an immediate threat in the top of the fourth inning. 2 on and nobody out, but Musgrove retired the next 3 batters to end the inning. The score stayed 1-0. Musgrove pitched a 1-2-3 top of the fifth inning. The Tigers then threatened again in the sixth inning. There were runners on first and second with 2 men away. The rally left up to Tigers second baseman Colt Keith.
Now 2-2. Joe delivers, and strike 3 call. Dropped in his best curveball of the day. It'll be his 8th K, and a wonderful way to end the afternoon. No runs, a hit, 2 men left on base.
Joe Musgrove was great today. 6 scoreless innings, 3 hits, 8 strikeouts, and 2 walks. We'll talk more about Joe a little bit later, but even when he got in trouble today, he found a way out of it. He was in line for a win, but the Padres weren't adding on. Ty Madden took over in the 4th inning for the Tigers, and he would keep it just a 1-run lead for a while. Jason Adam worked around a 2-out single and a stolen base for a scoreless 7th inning. Tanner Scott allowed a 1-out double to Riley Green in the 8th inning. He struck out Matt Vierling for out number 2. Justin Henry Malloy pinch hit with a tying run on second base for the Tigers. The Padres still leading just 1-0.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Check, swing, appeal, strike 3. First base umpire Dan Bellino rings him up, and Scott gets out of the inning with back-to-back Ks following the 1-out double by Green.
So we went to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Padres still leading just 1-0. They were looking for insurance. Kyle Higashioka hit a leadoff double. Mason McCoy then laid down a bunt. It was a great one. He reached base safely. So the Padres had runners on first and third with nobody out for Luis Arise.
1-run lead now, but a chance to add. 0-2 Arise on the ground through the left side and a base hit. Got it past Sweeney, who was drawn in. RBI single as Higashioka scores, and the Padre lead is now 2-0.
So at that point, the Padres had 2 runs, and both of them courtesy of Luis Arraez. Jake Cronenworth then hit a ground ball. The Tigers had the infield in. They threw out Mason McCoy at home. Arraez went to third base on the play. Cronenworth safe at first base. Manny Machado was next.
Here's the pitch. Manny swings, hits it on the ground through the right side, and a base hit. Arraez comes in to score. RBI single Manny Machado, a 3-0 Padre lead, and not a single man trying to do too much.
So the Padres had a 1-0 lead heading into the 8th inning. They left the 8th inning with a 3-0 lead. Robert Suarez came in for the Padres in the top half of the 9th inning. Colt Keith led off the inning with a single, but then quickly that runner was erased. Spencer Torkelson grounding into a double play. 2 outs and nobody on. It was Jace Young at the plate for Detroit. Robert Suarez against Young.
Suarez is sad. Here's the pitch. Swung on, popped into shallow left. Machado back, calling off Peralta. Manny on the move, gets there to make the catch, and the ball game is over. Padres make quick work of the Tigers on this Labor Day, a 3-0 shutout win. Joe Musgrove went 6, and then just like you draw it up. Adam in the 7th, Scott in the 8th, and Suarez saved number 31 here in the 9th.
And that was that. Padres get a very, very nice shutout win here today. 3-0 against the Tigers. Final totals in this one: 3 runs, 8 hits, no errors for the Padres. No runs, 6 hits, and 1 error for the Tigers. Again, the Padres now 79-61. Tigers dropped to 70-69. Padres have won 2 in a row. The last game of the series against Tampa Bay, and now the series opener against the Tigers. As Joe Musgrove picks up the win, he's now 5-4. Robert Suarez saved number 31 of the season. Just an excellent pitching day. Musgrove 6 scoreless innings, and then Adam, Scott, and Suarez, as Jesse alluded to, just like you want to draw it up, they get the job done in the final 3 innings, and the Padres pick up a win on this Labor Day. Let's go downstairs here at Petco Park and hear some post-game reaction.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Presented by Sinley Food. Spice up your culinary life.
Mike, if you don't mind, let's start with Joe. How impressive has he been since he's returned from the IL, and how important has it been that you've had this version of Joe?
It's impressive what he's done. It's very important that he's been back and doing what he's doing. It's now 4 straight outstanding starts for us. And hard-fought ball game. You know, we were able to scratch a run with Luis getting a big knock, and Joe made it stand up through 6 and made big pitches in the 6th to get out of it. He's been fantastic, and he's a big part of our club, and he's contributing big time.
Luis has done this multiple times now. How valuable is it to have a man in your leadoff spot that's not just a table setter?
Yeah, you know, we knew that when we got him, that he was a table setter. 2 batting titles speak for themselves. But if you put the ball in play a lot, you're probably going to be pretty good with runners in scoring position too. And the good news is we have a bottom of the lineup that gets on and contributes at the bottom. So he was able to drive in a couple runs a day. It was big.
And you mentioned the bottom of the lineup. Mason McCoy getting the bunt down. He did it the other day as well. Just continues to be production from there, doing the little things, getting the sacrifice bunts down, just executing.
Executing. Like. The 8th inning was really a beautiful representation of how baseball is supposed to be played on the offensive side. It was really nice. I think he gets it started with the double. Max moving him over, but lays down a beautiful bunt. So we got 1st and 3rd. Louis again, we're talking about him. 2 strikes, got him right where he wants him, and just takes a tough at bat. Boom, hits the ball the other way. Then we get, Toddy up there. I just loved his approach. He spoke with his words, like do what the game calls for. He sees a big hole. Just boom, trying to play the game, ends up moving him over. I love the intent of that. Moves him over. Then Manny, same thing. Do what the game calls for. Takes what the pitcher gives him. Hits the ball through the 4 hole. Gives us that insurance run. So it was really just good baseball in that 8th inning. The whole game actually. Pitching was outstanding.
You're through the 18 games, 27-28. How do you take stock of how you came out of this stretch?
Very well. It was a very, very, we can talk about normalizing it, and you can say any of the words that are all, somewhat can be cliche or people can perceive as cliche, but, doing it's way harder than saying it. And we can say, and I can say, well, we're going to normalize regardless of where we're at, hot. We went through that stretch, road, day game, night game, tough travel day, consecutive games in a row. We can say what we're going to do when all that is available to us, but it's really about how we go about it. And our guys, actions speak louder than words, and they all spoke with their actions. They all knew what this stretch meant. We had our leadership group. Manny was really very positive about what that was going to look like during the stretch. All the guys were very intentional about making sure that not only they were showing up, but they were showing up with the right kind of effort and the right kind of mentality to go play. And it couldn't have been on display more so, and very impressive for the 18 games and including today. I mean, I looked at the staff before the game, and we do our part. The staff did a really nice job. It's a quick turnaround going to a new, into a new series, and you played on the other coast, and you've got a late afternoon game. And I looked up, and it was really reassuring, which I wasn't surprised about. But again, I'm not going to take for granted that every single person, staff, everything was just a normal day. We talk about elite adjusters, and show up. Guys were engaged into the competition, and it's way easier said than done. But we did it, and now we only draw from it because now that is the identity of who we are, which is a very special identity.
Mike,
impressive group.
Sorry. Mike, you talked about Toddy's at bat there in the eighth. Just what was your overall assessment of him, today in the box, in the field, how he was moving? What did you see?
I thought he was moving pretty well. It was good to see him in the box. He took that great at bat, which I mentioned, and move runners. He's a presence. He's just an absolute presence. So, we have, a really good group of guys that are going about it the right way. That a lot of guys that whole group brings their presence. He's a great addition, clearly, and we're excited to have him back. Now we move forward to the next opportunity.
Do you have anything on Wednesday's starter?
Yu Darvish.
What's that going to be like to get him back now, too?
It's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. The ball came out really good. 2 times he's thrown. He clearly took care of himself during his time away. So we're really excited to see him pitch on Wednesday. Perez will throw Thursday.
That was Padres manager Mike Shildt earlier, just a few minutes ago after the Padres win this game 3-0 against the Detroit Tigers. Sam Levitt back with you inside the Western Metal Building after this 3-0 win for San Diego. So some big news there at the very end. Confirmed Yu Darvish will pitch on Wednesday for the Padres against the Tigers. Martin Perez will throw on Thursday. So the Padres getting Fernando Tatis Jr. back in the lineup today. Quiet day for Fernando, 0 for 4 at the plate, but you know what? He was out there. He was playing. He looked good, looked to be moving pretty well. Had to make at least one play by my count in right field as far as catching a fly ball and moving to a couple of balls that landed in for base hits. So he did a nice job today. Great to see him out there. Hopefully some hits to come in the coming days. But again, big news there confirmed from Mike Shildt. Yu Darvish will pitch on Wednesday, and that is a great thing for the Padres as look, we've seen the power now of stars coming back and performing really well. Need I say more when we talk about Joe Musgrove? And we'll talk more about Joe in our next segment, but he was stellar today. In command from the opening inning, 6 scoreless innings, and again, the Padres did enough offensively to come away with a 3-0 win. 2 RBI hits for Luis Arraez, 1 RBI single for Manny Machado. You heard Mike Shildt talk about approach there offensively, and I'm with him. Look, the Padres just, when they had opportunities, didn't try to do too much, and it paid off in a major way today. And we'll sort of wrap up this segment with this. We've talked a lot about this 18-game in 18-day stretch. So you zoom out a little bit. The Padres have now gone 10-8. To wrap up this 18-game stretch. Now, is it the hottest stretch ever? No. Is it as hot as they were before the last 18 games? No. But that was very hard to keep up how well they were playing for the early part of the second half. But look, this was a tough stretch, a lot of tough travel, some tough opponents, some tough pitching they faced, and they come out of it 10-8. And by the way, like I alluded to earlier, they come out of this stretch of 18 straight games in 18 days. you know what? At the end of the day, with Arizona losing today, they hold the number 1 wild card spot. So they come out of it, I think, really, really well. The schedule lightens up a lot as far as off days. It becomes way more manageable the rest of the way. Quite frankly, the travel becomes way more manageable the rest of the way. The Padres aren't going to leave the Pacific time zone the rest of the calendar. So, again, you zoom out at this 18-game stretch. They went 10-8. Not bad. You'll take it. You keep it moving. And, again, at the end of this Labor Day weekend, if the season ended today, the Padres are hosting that wild card series. So zoom out a little bit. All in all, I think you have to be pretty happy with where they're at. And I'll tell you what, this was a good win today. That was not easy what the Padres had to do in the last 24 hours. They played a close game against the Rays yesterday, had to get on a cross-country flight. Everybody got home, around 9:30, 10:30 p.m. last night by the time everybody got home. And then you show up today, it's a pretty early game, 3:40, and, credit to Joe Musgrove. Did a big thing today. He was dominant. Bullpen got it done. They got enough offense, and it was one of those days where you just were trying to find a way to win, and that's exactly what they did as they win it 3-0. We'll step aside. When we come back, we'll talk more about Joe Musgrove. We may have some additional post-game reaction coming from inside the Padres clubhouse. We'll get into your phone calls a little bit later as well. Final score, Padres 3 and the Tigers 0. Our post-game show continues after this. Our post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as the Padres win it 3-0 against the Tigers to open up this 3-game series. And the Padres stretch of 18 games in 18 days finally comes to an end. Padres will enjoy a well-deserved off day tomorrow, and it is a bit of a weird off day in the middle of a series. Padres then continue this 3-game series against the Tigers on Wednesday. We found found out just a handful of minutes ago, Yu Darvish will return on Wednesday. Very, very good to hear. So he'll be on the mound for the Padres on Wednesday. Martin Perez will start on Thursday for the Padres, and they've won 2 in a row. Padres improved to 79 and 61 with this victory here today. Let's tell you about today's relief pitcher of the game.
Which pitcher was able to come in and slam the door shut? It's time for the relief pitcher of the game in support of the Jacobs and Cushman San Diego Food Bank, providing food assistance to local children, families, and seniors in need. To get help or give help, visit SanDiegoFoodBank.org.
He's at second with 2 down for Rogers. 1-0 Padres in the top of the 7th inning. And a 2-0 pitch sent in the air to shallow center field. Bogart's back from second base, calling for it on the outfield grass. And he makes the catch to end the inning. No runs, a hit, and 1 man left on base.
Our relief pitcher of the game, we'll give it to Jason Adam today. A scoreless 7th inning. At the time, it was only a 1-0 game. Gave up a 2-out single. A stolen base, tying run on second, got the pop out, like you heard there, to end the inning. So for that reason, Jason Adam will be our relief pitcher of the game. Really, you could have gone with Tanner Scott, who gave up a 1-out double, then struck out 2 to strand the tying run on second base in the 8th inning. Robert Suarez, working with a 3-0 lead in the 9th inning, gave up a leadoff single, but then a double play, a pop out, ended the game. So you really had 3 good options here today. But this was one of those games where when the Padres made the trades for Jason Adam, for Tanner Scott, this is exactly what they envisioned. Having a close game where you need high leverage guys to come up with big outs, and it was a 1-0 game for Adam. He did that. It was a 1-0 game for Scott. He did that. And then Robert Suarez doing what Robert Suarez has done all year, and for the most part getting the job done in the 9th inning. So this is exactly how they draw it up. This is the ideal situation in a close game when you have Adam, Scott, and Suarez available 7, 8, 9, and they all did a great job here today. They did a great job avoiding allowing tying runs in scoring position to get home, certainly in the cases of Adam and Scott. So we'll give it to Jason Adam, and I'll also add this for Adam. Look, yesterday you'll look at his final line. It'll say 1 scoreless inning. Now, Adam came in yesterday in that 6th inning replacing Dylan Cease with the bases loaded and nobody out. He hit a batter. That led to a run scoring. Double play ball led to another run scoring. A wild pitch led to a run scoring. So even though he wasn't charged with any of those runs, 3 runs did come in with him on the mound. So this did feel like a little bit of a bounce back outing today for Jason Adam. It feels like he was sharper today. And look, 1-run game. They can give up a base hit. They can give up a double in the case of Scott. You just got to keep your team in front, and that's what Adam Scott and ultimately Robert Suarez did in this ball game as the Padres win it 3-0. We'll take your phone calls a little bit later, 833-288-0973. Again, 833-288-0973, the phone number to call if you want to get involved. When we come back, we'll talk about our player of the game. We'll also have additional post-game reaction from inside the Padres clubhouse. We should hear from Joe Musgrove, should hear from some others as well after this 3-0 win. Our post-game show continues when we return on the Padres Radio Network. Our postgame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Final score, Padres 3 and the Tigers nothing. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we wrap this one up. Padres get a series opening win against the Tigers on this Labor Day. They'll enjoy an off day tomorrow and then continue this series on Wednesday against the Tigers. Yu Darvish, we learned earlier, will return on Wednesday. So the return of Fernando Tatis Jr. today, that was awesome to see. And Darvish will be back on the mound on Wednesday here at Petco Park. Let's tell you about today's player of the game.
Which player had the biggest impact on today's game? Let's find out who is today's player of the game. Presented by Valley View Casino and Hotel. Catch every game at Patties and Pints. Plus, enjoy $4 beer every Thursday. Visit valleyviewcasino.com today.
Now 2-2. Joe delivers. And strike three call. Dropped in his best curveball of the day. It'll be his 8th K and a wonderful way to end the afternoon. No runs, a hit, 2 men left on base.
Joe Musgrove, our player of the game. He was great today once again. 6 scoreless innings, 3 hits. He walked 2, struck out 8, 94 pitches, threw a lot of strikes, 61 of them. He was really, really sharp in this game. And I'll get to Joe's overall numbers since coming off the IL in a moment. But he's been really good since coming off the IL. I mean, he has looked like the sharp, dominant version of Joe Musgrove now a couple of times. There was that outing against the Mets on the Friday where he was fantastic, 7 scoreless innings, and there was the outing today. I mean, he was so sharp today. There were really 2 instances where he got in trouble, and he was able to work his way out of it. In the 4th inning, walks the leadoff man, gives up a single, 2 on, nobody out, retires the next 3, including a strikeout of Torkelson to end the 4th inning. And then in the 6th inning, gets the first 2 outs, then a single, a walk, and then gets a strikeout of Colt Keith to end that 6th inning. So even when he got in trouble, he found a way out of it. He had 8 strikeouts in this game. He was spinning it well. I thought Joe looked great. And you look at the overall numbers. Since he's come off the IL, 5 starts, a 1.30 ERA, 27 2/3 innings, 27 strikeouts, and 6 walks. So again, a 1.30 ERA in 27 2/3 innings since coming off the IL. And to me, it says a couple of things. Number one, it says that Joe's pitching really well, and that's a really big deal for this team. And I think it also shows you the power of getting a guy like that back. And when we talk about Yu Darvish coming back on Wednesday, why is that so important? Why is that so big? Because Yu Darvish has the potential to pitch like that as well. No doubt about it. So in getting Musgrove back and getting Darvish back now in the month of September, the Padres are adding 2 guys who are frontline starters in a rotation. They were without him for a while, but now they're back. And from a September perspective, from a potential postseason perspective, that's enormous. So Joe's been really good. He was really good today. 6 awesome innings from Joe Musgrove. No runs, 3 hits, 2 walks, and he struck out 8. So no doubt about it today, Joe Musgrove, our player of the game. Let's go downstairs here at Petco Park and hear some post-game reaction from Joe Musgrove, who got today's win.
A lot better about it. Kind of got away from me in the end of that 6th inning, but I was able to sneak out of there with a middle curveball to get out of that jam. So I thought I commanded it really well all game up until that point. Breaking balls were really good. The fastball at the top of the zone was great. I had a really good sinker, which I've been missing the last couple starts. So I feel like that pitch, sinker and the changeup kind of opened up the rest of my game. So it's nice having those ready to go today.
Obviously, since coming off the IL, it's been pretty good. The start was great. 2 starts ago was great as well. Do you feel like you're getting back to peak form, if you will?
Yeah, I mean, part of it is just getting your stuff, to the spots, like execution. I feel like I have a good game plan going into every start, but, big league hitters are a little bit different than some of the minor league guys you face in the rehab start. So, you can feel as good as you want, but until you get to, get some live looks in there and see how your stuff plays and, adding a new pitch in and trying to find ways to use that in the right situations. I'm getting more and more comfortable with each start, but that's, I'm getting back to a lot closer to myself. So.
You mentioned the curveball. Was this one of those days? Did you feel, coming out the bullpen, this was going to be a good day? Was it first inning? When did you feel like you this?
Yeah, I never put too much stock into my bullpens before the game. I use that strictly just to get warmed up. I've had plenty of outings where my stuff's terrible down there and it's great in the game, and sometimes it's great down there and it doesn't work out in the game. So I'm pretty far past putting a lot of stock into the bullpens and using that to kind of give me motivation or confidence going into the start. But I threw some good ones down there, some bad ones, but ultimately when I get on those 8 warm-up pitches before the game starts is where I kind of have an idea of where my stuff's going to be at.
So that was Joe Musgrove as far as his post-game comments after 6 scoreless innings here today. He was absolutely terrific. Again, Joe improving to 5-4 on the year. And like I said, a 1.30 ERA now in 5 starts since coming off the IL, with Yu Darvish, his return from the IL now looming on Wednesday. Well, Manny Machado had a nice moment in this game. RBI single in the 8th inning. He was 1 for 4 today. Manny's been swinging the bat really well as of late, and what you loved about that at bat in the 8th inning, it's a 2-0 game. Padres are just trying to add on to the lead. You don't need Manny to hit a huge home run there. You're just trying to keep it rolling and make a 2-run lead, a 3-run lead, and didn't try to do too much. He just put a ground ball through the right side of the infield. Another run scored. Machado picking up the RBI, and it made it a 3-0 game. Robert Suarez did the rest in the 9th inning. Let's go back downstairs here at Petco Park inside the Padres clubhouse. Here's some post-game reaction from Manny Machado.
Manny, how big to get this version of Joe Musgrove out there in the mound for you guys?
Yeah, he's been lights out for us ever since he came back. He's looking like his himself. He's feeling healthy, feeling good, and to have him back healthy has been huge for us. So we need him to get to where we want to get to, and he's been going out there and been doing his part.
To return today, second to last homestand of the year after 18 straight games in 18 days, what can our boost to find out that Tatis is back and that Darvish returns on Wednesday?
Yeah, guys are getting healthy. I think that's the most important part. They're healthy. They're coming back, and our team is looking back to their own selves. So we got to continue doing what we got to do, and stay mentally prepared for what our end of the season goal is.
Mike said that Yu is back on Wednesday. Just what kind of a boost does that give you guys?
It's gonna be huge. Again, it's just like Joe did. Joe came back and was a big part of his last multiple starts, and I think Yu's gonna be the same. So having another guy go out there and our ace is back on the mound. Not just for the ball club, but I think for everyone. We have that confidence that the team's back healthy and ready to roll.
Manny, how much fun are you guys having right now in the middle of this chase? Right now, you guys are right there in the mix. Just balling right now.
Yeah, it's been fun baseball all year. This team has been, we've been competing all year. We've been growing as a team, as an organization, and we're going to continue doing that. At the end of the day, we go out there and we compete every single day. This is the last, last 18 was a tough one for us, and everyone, we all left it out there for this last one, and now with a couple off days this month, it's going to be huge for us, and but at the end of the day, it's just staying mentally prepared for what our goal is and try to reach that.
Sure.
All right, that was Manny Machado after today's game. You heard Manny there on the return of Fernando, the return of Yu Darvish as well. So we'll see. We may have some additional post-game reaction coming from inside the Padres clubhouse after this 3-0 win for the Padres against the Tigers. Let's tell you what went on today around the major leagues and also update you on those wild card and divisional standings.
Let's take a trip around the Bigs and tell you about the scores you need to know in our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Meat, where great taste meets integrity.
We take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard. A number of games have gone final already. Mets beating the Red Sox 4-1 in New York earlier today. So the Mets continue to play well. They are knocking on the door of a postseason spot right now. We'll have more on that in a moment. A's beat the Mariners 5-4 in Oakland. Twins beat the Rays 5-4 in Tampa Bay. The Dodgers beat the Diamondbacks 11-6 in Arizona. Freddie Freeman 2 home runs in that game for LA. That's a critical game when it comes to the the Padres right now. Again, we'll have more on that in a second. Reds beat the Astros 5-3 in Cincinnati earlier today. Guardians beat the Royals 4-2 in Kansas City. Josh Naylor, a 2-run home run in that game for the Guardians. Orioles beat up on the White Sox 13-3 in Baltimore. Brewers beat the Cardinals 9-3 in Milwaukee. Willy Adames, a 3-run home run in that game for the Brew Crew. 2 games going on right now. Yankees ahead of the Rangers 7-1 in Arlington in the 7th inning. Pirates 5, Cubs 3 at Wrigley Field in Chicago in the 9th inning. And that is a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Labor Day. So where are we right now? And we can give you a pretty good picture of the wild card standings. Again, the one game that is still underway that matters right now in the wild card race, Pirates and the Cubs, but the Cubs are the farthest team away right now that we're really focusing on. So where are we right now? Well, the good news today, the Padres beating the Tigers, Diamondbacks losing to the Dodgers. So the Padres have jumped ahead of the Diamondbacks by a game for the first wild card spot. So the Padres will end the day in that number 1 wild card spot in the National League. Arizona a game behind, and then Atlanta 3.5 games behind the Padres for that first spot. The Mets, with their win today, improved to a half game behind the Atlanta Braves for that third and final wild card spot. So the Mets, they were 3 games out a few days ago. They have now closed to within a half game of that third and final wild card spot. The Cubs are still playing right now. The Braves don't play today. So if the Cubs win, they would be 2.5 out. If the Cubs lose, they would be 3.5 out behind Atlanta. Again, the Cubs losing right now in the 9th inning, 5-3 against the Pirates in Chicago. As far as the NL West, here's the way things look. Padres do remain 5 games behind the Dodgers for first place in the National League West. The Diamondbacks dropped to 6 games behind LA. So like I said earlier, look, Padres fans, I'm not telling you to root for the Dodgers, okay? I understand it. But look, there was a clear benefit this weekend, the last 4 days, to the Diamondbacks losing those games. And here today, a good example. Padres win, Diamondbacks lose. Padres now are all alone in the top wild card spot. Now, look, if the Diamondbacks would have went and swept the Dodgers, you would have taken that. You would have picked up ground in the NL West. But again, the Diamondbacks would also pick up ground. So look, there's a bit of an argument for both. I think there's probably more of an argument right now for the Diamondbacks losing. Good news today, Diamondbacks lost. Forget the opponent. They lost, Padres won. Padres jump a game in front of Arizona, and that is the way we end today. Again, the only result right now in question is the Cubs, if they win or lose. But right now, if you're a Padres fan, I wouldn't worry a ton about that right now. Padres are in a good position. Again, 10-8 after this 18-game and 18-day stretch. And they will end that stretch in the number 1 wild card spot, which I think is, all things considered, a pretty good place to be. We'll step aside. When we come back, we'll have our play of the game. We may have some additional post-game reaction coming from inside the Padres clubhouse, so stay tuned for that. If you want to get a phone call in, phone number is always 833-288-0973. Again, 833-288-0973. Final score, Padres 3, Tigers nothing. Our post-game show continues after this on the Padres Radio Network. Our post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Final score here today, Padres 3 and the Tigers nothing. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building as we wrap this one up. The Padres win it 3-0 against the Tigers here today. Padres improved to 79-61. The Tigers dropped to 70-69 on the year. Joe Musgrove again terrific in this game. 6 scoreless innings. The bullpen trio of Adam, Scott, and Suarez, they were terrific. A scoreless 7th inning, a scoreless 8th inning, a scoreless 9th inning. Adam, Scott, and Suarez just like to draw it up out of the bullpen, and the Padres getting just enough offense. We'll talk more about the offense here in just a second, what the Padres did do offensively today. Obviously, the headline of this game coming in, the return of Fernando Tatis Jr., in his first game since June 21st. I'll tell you, it was really cool watching Fernando go out, run into right field, interact with the fans. His first at-bat, a really nice ovation. He was 0 for 4 today. Look, I really don't care about the box score today for Fernando. Bottom line, he was out there. He looked good, looked to move pretty well, and he's out there playing in the midst of, really meaningful baseball in the month of September. So that was my takeaway today. Obviously, you want results as well, but today, that's my takeaway. You got to win. Fernando was back out there, and hopefully more hits to come in the coming days. Let's go back downstairs here at Petco Park. Here's some post-game reaction. This is what Fernando Tatis Jr. had to say after today's win.
Fernando, how good did it feel to get back out there?
It was amazing, man. The fans were incredible. Just amazing energy all the way around. Like I mentioned earlier, just happy to be back with the boys and just great W all the way around.
How fun was it to run out to right field and have the fans welcome you back like that? They enjoyed it just as much, I think.
It's a beautiful feeling, man. I wish I could put it into words, but I had goosebumps and my energy went right to the roof, and that was the push that I definitely needed, and it was just beautiful all the way around.
Any butterflies, like opening day butterflies getting back out?
Yeah, of course. A lot of butterflies, I'll say, but like I mentioned, the energy was through the roof, and I love the city. I love every single fan of San Diego, and everything we do over here is for them.
Was there anything about actually being in a game that ended that was just maybe a little bit quicker, or just got the energy going a little bit more? Did you feel up to speed with everything?
I feel with the speed. I feel like I was right on track with everybody. And I got some good pitches today, but it's part of the game.
Mike was super happy with your last at-bat, too, just sort of doing what the situation needed. You saw the hole on the right side. It's a great approach right there. Just the baseball instincts picking up where they left off.
Yeah, exactly. Playing the beautiful game of baseball and just doing what the game asks for. And, that's not just me. That's what this team has been doing since day one, and we keep showing every single day.
When did they decide you were coming back tonight? Was there any discussion about maybe taking you off day and coming back on Wednesday?
I feel like that was taking like 10 days before. We were looking at the schedule. We were, we were talking back and forth of how they look better and what was the best overall. But, we got together and we decided the second was the best day.
I think you mentioned just months ago that originally you thought you might miss the entire season. Like, just to come back with the full month left, like how much of a difference is that versus what you were thinking back then?
I mean, that was the beginning of the conversation when I first went down. There was a lot of chance of me missing the entire season, and right away that was a big downer. That's just shocking because one day I was in the field, and the other day I was probably losing the season. But just all credit to the training staff and to the doctors over here. I feel like we have put the right conversation and we have done the right stuff to get back on track, and we definitely did it sooner than we expected that it was going to happen.
Physically, how do you feel? Physically, how do you feel?
I feel really good. I feel I got a couple bursts of sprints out there, and I feel amazing. I was moving them around great, and I just wanted to run as fast as I can, but it didn't happen today.
What do you think Musgrove says in playing on the injury list?
It's amazing, Joe. Since he came back, he bounced back right away. He's filling the spot, and he has done just an incredible job of taking care of business. That's the type of pitcher that he is, and I'm just glad that he's healthy and we're back in the same field together.
and Darvish on Wednesday to start? You guys have the full squad back together now? Is that what it feels like?
It definitely feels like that, but this is a great group, and we're gonna push together hard.
Did you stop smiling since you got the news that you were good to go?
I did not. I did not. I feel like it just shows how much I love to play this game, and how much I love being out there and doing what I love to do, and it's just an amazing feeling.
Fernando, how cool was it I know you were sitting out, but how nice was it to watch Jackson Merrill just kind of emerge while you were kind of sitting out, him just kind of take the reins until you came back?
It's amazing. The kid's an amazing talent. He's going to be a great baseball player. This is just the beginning of his career, and I know he's going to do way more of what he has been doing so far.
That was Fernando Tatis Jr. inside the Padres clubhouse earlier, just a handful of minutes ago. Padres winning it 3-0, and again, the big headline coming in, Fernando returning to the Padres lineup. First game he played since June 21st. Great to see him out there, and it comes in a win as the Padres are victorious here today, 3-0 against the Tigers. Let's hear today's play of the game.
What was the crucial play that determined who came out on top? This is today's Play of the Game, presented by Bill Howe Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
1-run lead now, but a chance to add. 0-2 Arise on the ground through the left side and a base hit. Got it past Sweeney, who is drawn in. RBI single as Higashioka scores, and the Padre lead is now 2-0.
Our play of the game, that RBI single for Luis Arise in the 8th inning. It was really take your pick between the early RBI single that gave the Padres a 1-0 lead. That would prove to be all they needed in this game. And the second RBI single from Arise in the 8th inning that made it 2-0. Manny Machado would have an RBI single in the 8th to make it 3-0 as the Padres go on to win by that final score. But we give it to the 8th inning RBI base hit for Arise just because it really felt like they needed more, right? I mean, it's 1-0. They got a run in the third. Felt like things would be easier if you got more. The Padres got one run of insurance, then they got two. So we selected that second RBI base hit to make it 2-0 in the 8th inning for Arise as our play of the game. Really productive day for Luis. 2 hits, 2 RBIs, and a run scored. And look, out of the 3 runs the Padres collected in this game, Arise drove in 2, so he had a very nice day at the plate. And really, we talked about it pregame, he swung the bat very nicely as of late. So good stuff from Arise. That's the beauty of what he does so well. He comes up in 2 spots in this game, once with a runner on second base in the 3rd, then runners on 1st and 3rd in the 8th inning. And there's spots where you're just looking for a base hit, not just because of the runners on base, but because of the situation. Right? 8th inning there, you're just looking for at least one more insurance run to give Robert Suarez a little bit of breathing room, and that's exactly what Arise provided. So, hey, a lot of situations where there's nobody else should want up other than Luis Arise, and certainly that rang true in a couple of spots here today. All right, as always, if you missed any portion of our post-game coverage, you can go back and listen to all of it on the Inside San Diego Baseball podcast with Sam Levitt, available on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcast. You can also go back and watch any portion of our post-game show on the 97.3 The Fan YouTube channel as well. Taking a look at Wednesday's game. Remember, the Padres have an off day tomorrow. Very well deserved. 18 games in 18 days comes to an end here today. Padres go 10-8 in that stretch, and they end today 79-61 on the season. So, off day tomorrow. Then the Padres return to action on Wednesday here at Petco Park. First pitch on Wednesday at 6:40 p.m. Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show will begin at 5:40. Right-hander Yu Darvish on the mound for the Padres. It'll be right-hander Keider Montero on the mound for the Tigers. So Yu Darvish making his return to the mound on Wednesday. Today very exciting with Fernando back, and certainly Wednesday should be very, very exciting as well as Darvish takes the mound here at Petco Park. Taking a look at the final totals in Game 1 of this 3-game set. For the Padres, 3 runs, 8 hits, no errors. They left on 5. For the Tigers, no runs, 6 hits, 1 error. They left on 7. Winning pitcher in this game, Joe Musgrove, who improves to 5-4. Losing pitcher, Brennan Hanafy, who drops to 0-1. And the save goes to Robert Suarez, his 31st of the season. Time of game, 2 hours and 18 minutes. And the crowd here at Petco Park, the 45th sellout of 2024. The attendance here in downtown San Diego, 44,957. Once again, first pitch on Wednesday at 6:40 p.m. Our pregame coverage begins at 5:40. Until then, for our great studio coordinator, Nick Danucci, I'm Sam Levitt saying so long from Petco Park. Again, the final score here today, the San Diego Padres 3 and the Detroit Tigers 0. We'll talk to you on Wednesday here on the Padres Radio Network. Have a great night, everybody.